Hadouken!
Welcome to First Impressions!
Hey dudes, ThatDude Sunglasses here, and welcome to a First Impressions of Star Wars The Force Awakens. This is probably going to be pretty long, so you should probably go and get something to eat, because this is going to be quite a wild ride. Okay, so technically this is my second impressions of the movie, since I actually originally watched it on the 18th of December, and I've just watched it today, well, actually, it would be yesterday now, the 17th, which is a month exactly after its UK release. I would have actually would have booked the UK release. No, actually, I don't think I would have, because it kind of feels like when it's the end of term kind of treat or something for working so hard, not just in school. Anyway, so I'm going to be talking about the film. So it's directed by J.J. Abrams. It was written by Lawrence Kasdan and J.J. Abrams and Michael Arnott. It stars Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, even though he only has a little role at the end, Carrie Fisher, Adam Driver, Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Lupita Nyong'o, I'm not sure, Andy Serkis. I think Andy Serkis is the rebel fighter. Domhnall Gleeson, Anthony Daniels, Peter Mayhew, Max von Sydow, and that's it for that. And the music was composed by John Williams with his fantastic scores. It was published and distributed by Walt Disney, but it was produced by Lucasfilm and Bad Robot Productions. Let's talk about the story. So, 30 years after the destruction of the second Death Star, Luke Skywalker has disappeared. And this is what it tells us at the start of the movie. He disappeared. So basically, the movie starts with... I'm just going to actually find out what his name is. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I just quickly forgot and then I remember. Alright, because it was literally half an hour ago that I got out of the theatre. So a Resistance pilot, who's actually apparently the best pilot in the whole squadron and the whole Resistance, Poe meets a village elder, Lor San Tekka. That's his name apparently. It isn't actually revealed in the movie. On the planet Jakku, which I'm actually just going to check here. I think Jakku's Tatooine. I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to have to quickly have a look. Let's see. Hopefully Tatooine should be here. Tatooine. Oh, okay, so it's only in Star Wars. Where's Jakku? Oh, I think it is technically the same planet, because it looks exactly the same. Yeah, it looks exactly the same, and it's it's got the same things as Tatooine, so I suppose it's still Tatooine, probably just with a different name. But I'm not sure about that. Let's go back. Anyway, yep. So this what's his name? This Lore guy gives Poe a little memory chip that has a map on the whereabouts of Luke Skywalker since he went missing. But at that point, the First Order, which is kind of like the Sith and the Empire, but just of this trilogy, obviously. So basically, what happens is the First Order, they come down and they storm the village that he was in, this Poe. Basically, he has to give the map and its data to the BB-8 droid, which I actually like BB-8. I'm going to talk about him a bit later on. Anyway, so you've got and then Kylo Ren comes, and it's the first time you see him, and you think, wow, he looks like he's so ripping off Darth Vader. Do you know what? I really like Kylo Ren though. I think he's a great character. Obviously not as good as Darth Vader, but his presence is definitely known. So basically, this guy Poe gets taken in on and he gets tortured by Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren tortures him to try and get information out of him, and then finds out that it's in the droid. So basically, as well, then okay, so FN2187, who is a stormtrooper, is kind of not very happy with his job. His first battle, when he sees all of the villagers die, he's very sad and mourning. You can't really see it that much, but you can just tell from what he just does nothing, and you can tell it's quite a lot of fear, I believe, more than pain or sadness. It's more fear of what the First Order could do and everything they can do. And then basically he gets Poe out of the ship that he was being held on, and then he gets the nickname Finn. So Poe and Finn. But then it crashes on Jakku because Poe needed to go back to Jakku to find BB-8 and take him back to the Resistance base. And then after that, they crash, and he thinks, and what's his name again? Finn. He wakes up and he thinks that Poe's dead, and everyone else would think that Poe's dead and he's dead. So he keeps walking along, and then he finds a village, and there, at that point, BB-8 had met up with a girl called Rey, or let's say a woman called Rey, and basically Finn comes to that little village, but BB-8 spots him having Poe's jacket on, and he thinks, and she runs after, and Rey runs after Finn because she thinks that he's a bad guy. But then they find out quite otherwise. But they have to escape because the First Order has caught them. Then we get a great action scene in the Millennium Falcon when they're going around trying to get away from the First Order, and I think it's a really good scene. It's really impressive and has some great cinematography as well. So then they're back in space again, and we get a little bit of comedy as well, which is pretty cool. But then they get pulled into what seems like a First Order ship, but it's actually Han Solo and Chewbacca. And I forgot to say spoilers, so spoilers from now on. So yeah, Han Solo and Chewbacca, although most of you already know because most of you have already seen the trailer, and who cares anyway, you've all seen the movie by now. Because everyone has. Why wouldn't they have? If they cared about Star Wars and they really want to see the movie, then they would see it in less financial problems. Okay, alright then. So basically, as well, you've got Han Solo there, and then they go through the ship and team up with Han Solo and Chewbacca, and they all go around the ship. But you find out that, like his old smuggling days, you find out that he had that Han Solo had made some enemies over his time. But then they released some kind of thingy. I can't remember what it's called. Let's have a quick look here. Yeah. Oh yeah, it doesn't say here. Alright, it doesn't matter. So there's monsters and creatures try and attack them. And it, works. And, well, no, it doesn't work. I'm sorry, I'm a bit tired. I should have done this tomorrow, but I just wanted to do it before I forget. And, like, oh my god, I don't want to do it. So, and I know I sound really bored as well. So, then eventually they get out and they go to a planet called, wait a second, because I don't think it told us, wait a second, yeah, okay, I don't think it told us that, but it's called Takodana, and they meet with the Cantina Oda Maz Kanata, who has been around, as the movie says, for thousands of years, and was and has seen the Sith, the Empire, and the First Order come around and go, and but then there's a lightsaber. Then Finn wanted to get away from all the action because he wanted to run because he thought they had no chance against the First Order. In the meanwhile, so while he's going away, Rey hears a voice calling out to her, and then she gets visions of things after she touches a lightsaber. Although she doesn't know that it's actually Luke Skywalker's. And from here on, it can kind of tell you that she's actually Luke Skywalker's daughter. And although it doesn't tell you in the movie, but I know it will. I think everyone there was like too many clues really to tell you that. But anyway, so then she runs away because she's scared. But then there's a massive battle on the where the temple is. So there's a massive battle. Yeah, where everything around is being destroyed. Not the whole planet, but just that area around there. And they have a big battle. But in the meanwhile, Rey is captured by Kylo Ren and taken to a base on a planet that has been transformed into a weapon. So then, what happens after that is Rey magically gets the Force powers, where Finn, Han Solo, and Chewie had all gone back to the Rebel base on the planet, and where they meet up, and we find out that Poe didn't die. Yay! That's good to know. So Poe didn't die. I kind of knew on my first time when I watched it, I kind of knew that he hadn't died. He wouldn't die. It just kind of didn't make sense. So then after that, basically there's a massive attack, and then what happens is, and spoilers if you really don't want to find out the most heartbreaking spoiler and stupidest spoiler, although absolutely massive and great thing, well, not great thing, a sad thing, then please go off now. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Han Solo dies. You find out during the movie that Kylo Ren is actually Han Solo's son, and eventually Kylo Ren kills him, to the dismay of Rey and Finn, who were watching from above. So then Rey tries to use her powers and the Force to try and defeat Kylo Ren, but then she gets pushed back onto a tree. Finn then picks up the lightsaber and does battle with Kylo Ren for about a minute until he gets knocked back as well. Then Rey wakes up and there's an absolutely fantastic battle between her and Kylo Ren. And it is an absolutely fantastic battle. It was very entertaining and it was kind of like eye candy because it looked so great. And eventually Kylo Ren succumbs to Rey's wrath and, well, he's very, very much injured. Then at the end of the movie, Rey goes on a hunt to find Luke Skywalker. And after that, basically, what happens is Luke Skywalker is at the end of the movie, and he's there, but he doesn't say anything, and then that's the end of the movie. Now, there are some things about the plot I did forget to mention. Leia and Han come back together, C-3PO returns, and R2-D2 wakes up at the end and gives them the rest of the map. Also, Kylo Ren is under the employment, I'm just going to say employment, of General, I can't remember, I think it's General Stoke. Yeah, or Stoke, I can't remember. They don't use Darth anymore, I don't think. General Stoke, and, well, General Stoke's kind of cool, I suppose. You don't see that much of him, though. And that's really it, but there's a lot of extra stuff. Now let's talk about what I thought of the plot. The plot was absolutely fantastic. I think it kind of had a similar approach to, a very similar approach to A New Hope. A very, very similar approach to New Hope. The whole thing starts off on a desert planet. It shows two stories and two things unraveling at once, at the same time, with the enemy threat being present. Eventually, the heroes meet up at some point. Then they go off into the Millennium Falcon, and they go to another planet. Or no, actually, yeah, well, kind of like that. They go to another planet, and then there is a big threat with a weapon, and then they destroy it in the end. But someone dies. Someone we love as a character dies. In A New Hope, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. In Force Awakens, it is Han Solo. But the thing is, Han Solo has been a character that was in the entire trilogy, and he was one of the main characters, and he was as one of the main characters in this one. So that kind of makes it even more overwhelming when he goes and he dies. It's quite shocking as well. My mum wasn't crying over it, but she was kind of like a little, kind of upset, I'd say. But overall, the plot is just brilliant. It's kind of genius. It's so similar to the New Hope's plot, but at the same time, it's so different and so unique and just so fun and just such a lovely kind of take on a Star Wars movie. Let's talk about the characters, and there are a lot of characters to talk about and stuff like that. So just let me do something and then I will go. Okay, yes, I've done something now. I scratch myself. No. So let's see. Let's look at our characters here. So we're going into a list of Star Wars characters as it says on Wikipedia. So first we're going with Harrison Ford as Han Solo. Han Solo, there's not really that much explaining behind him. Everyone knows he is such a great and unique and fun kind of character. He has a certain charm and appeal that can't really be matched as someone else. He's a ruthless smuggler who does anything to get out of the way and the line of trouble. And it's brilliant. His character, since the start, has always been absolutely brilliant. Unique and overall just likeable. No, not likeable. Absolutely lovable. Some people think he's the best character in the Star Wars trilogy. And some people think that he is not. But I think he is definitely one of the best. Not the best. My favourite's Luke Skywalker, but going on to that. Mark Hamill's Luke Skywalker. The thing is, as well with this, is I can't really say that much about Luke Skywalker because I'm not talking about his character, but I'm talking about his character kind of in the movie. So, in the movie, he hasn't really got a character because all he does is he just walks. At the end of the movie, he's just there. There's not much to say about him. And I can't believe he's actually listed as one of the main characters because he's barely there. So, on the list, yeah, he is the second one down, but Daisy Ridley as Rey is the fifth one down, and John Boyega is the sixth one down. It's kind of a bit ridiculous. Carrie Fisher as General Leia Organa, or Princess Leia. So I'm going to be reviewing the character of General Leia Organa, not Princess Leia. So basically, I'm talking about Princess Leia grown up, kind of more grown up. Now she's not cocky at all like she was in the first movies. She's kind of gentle and doesn't really have that much of a kind of stigma, but you can kind of tell her presence is there, and Carrie Fisher's kind of genius in getting over the feelings of the character and making her seem real and natural, and just great overall, just fantastic. And she's not as good as the character of Princess Leia, because even though they're the same person, they're completely changed. So I think Princess Leia as that badass, awesome, cocky princess who doesn't need saving, but I kind of think as General Leia Organa as that old grown-up, mature person who kind of feels like the responsible adult in the situation. Who else have we got? We have Adam Driver as Kylo Ren. Now, I'm going to talk about Kylo Ren. So basically, Kylo Ren is a great character when he has his mask on. When he has his mask on, whenever he moves around, you can kind of tell the threat and everything. And you can tell the threat and what he is and you can feel the presence of how he's a dark force that's stirring around, that really, really scares people to the bone because of how mean and blooming dark as a character he is. It expresses tons of opinions, but my opinion is that he is awesome. But let's talk about his suit. His suit, or his costume or whatever, is brilliant. Although I think the mask doesn't really work. I think he looks better when he doesn't have his mask, because when he does have his mask, he just looks like some blooming idiot who, like, it's kind of like, he kind of looks like someone with a stormtrooper head, but wearing a suit. Kind of like Hello Greedo. Yeah. But let's talk about Kylo Ren when he has his helmet off. Most of the time when he has his helmet off, he seems like a two-dimensional idiot. He kind of seems a bit like a moany little crybaby, because he's kind of actually properly having tears of whether he should do it or not. But that kind of doesn't make him, that kind of tells you that he's not more powerful than Darth Vader like he wants to be, because he is actually being tempted by the dark side with just his father talking to him, the father that he kills in the end. But overall I think the character of Kylo Ren is great. So you've got Daisy Ridley as Rey. Rey kind of doesn't express that much emotion at the start, but then she gets much better when she gets emotions of happiness, anger, and despair. Unlike someone like Adonis Creed in Creed, where he's one-dimensional throughout the whole thing and basically just sounds like he's bored to a certain extent. Really, really damn bored. But she's a great character. Her story behind her is it's kind of scary to think of that, of being left alone with some blooming grunt taking you in, saying, "Come on, girl, come on, girl, we have work to do and stuff." It works. As a character, she kind of fits in as a good protagonist. So she's not the protagonist that Luke was. She will never be, and there probably will never be a protagonist in the Star Wars universe, probably, in my opinion, as great, or at least a main protagonist, as great as Luke. But, because Luke was kind of sounded, even though he sounded a bit annoying at times, especially in the first movie, he kind of had a sort of persona to him. But Rey is a fantastic character. John Boyega as Finn. Now, Finn is great. His conflict as a stormtrooper, how he doesn't want to kill at all, and he doesn't want people to get hurt, and he wants to kind of be a hero, even though he can realise that he isn't at all. But that's the thing that makes him such a charming and just brilliant personality. Eventually, later on, he kind of becomes a bit... He likes Rey, and he wants to save her. And that's great. Here's something I want to talk about quickly. The relationship, before I forget. The relationship between Rey and Finn. It wasn't a love interest. It wasn't a love relationship. It was nothing of the sort. Just because they looked out for each other didn't mean they were in love. Which, if they were in love, that kind of would have made it a bit more fairy tale kind of thing. In A New Hope, no one was in love. No one was in love in New Hope, so that's another thing that's similar to A New Hope. Anything else about their relationship? Yeah, so she gives him a kiss when he's in the coma at the end of the movie. But that's nothing kind of bad. That's kind of good luck, so he can get better. And like a good luck charm, you can even say to a certain extent. And it's great. Now we have so it's Oscar Isaac who's this Poe guy. Okay. Oscar Isaac plays Poe, and Poe kind of seems like that energetic kind of hotshot guy, like Sam Speed in Sonic X. That guy who always wants to kind of go fast and live a life of adventure and action, even though you don't see it. But he's kind of like Sam Speed in the sense that, and also the thing is, but he can be serious and emotional kind of a bit as well. Who else we've got? Let's see. We have, Lupita Nyong'o plays Maz Kanata, who is the wise and perceptive figure with the glasses. And she is a really good character, I believe. It works in her kind of motives kind of work in about how she's seen the pain and suffering before, and she knows what to do. But you don't really get to know that much about her, which is pretty sad. And I don't really I think that's bad, because I think she's a good character. Supreme Leader Snoke. I said earlier that there wasn't actually that much about that you heard about him, and no, you don't. He's kind of mysterious, but I think he was introduced a little bit too quickly. So what else as well? We have Dom Domhnall as General Hux, who is the commander of the First Order Starkiller base. He's good at portraying this character, because if he's the right one I'm thinking about, yeah, he has that kind of smirk and kind of look of kind of how he's petrified and he kind of wants forgiveness, but at the same time the darkness rules over him inside, and that works as a bit of conflict, but he doesn't question his dark side motives at all. But you don't really find out that much about him, so yeah. Anthony Daniels as C-3PO, yeah, great. Of course, C-3PO is just so funny. Sadly you don't see that much of him, because we've got more of a new cast. Although I like BB-8 as well. BB-8's pretty awesome. I'll talk about him in a sec. So you've got Peter Mayhew as Chewbacca. So basically, he was the voice completely of Chewbacca, although someone else called Junas Suo Tamo portrays the character in lots of different action scenes, because Mayhew suffered from knee problems on the set, which I don't blame him. He's blooming 71 years old, mate. You're not expecting him to do a load of action scenes, but he still plays him at different other points as well. So Chewbacca, he's just so funny as well. He's like hitting Finn when Finn's trying to help him, and I kind of feel, well, that's kind of his character, which I think I like it. There's the Max von Sydow as Lor San Tekka. I'm not going to talk about him because there's nothing really to say. There's BB-8 again, and BB-8's the last character I'm going to talk about. BB-8 is a great character, and a great robot. Is he better than R2-D2 or C-3PO? No, but he's very close, because him and R2-D2 are so similar in lots of different ways, and I like it. What else as well? So that's the characters. Let's talk about effects and cinematography. The effects were absolutely brilliant. They said how they used lots of practical effects as well, but I didn't really see that much of that. I could see they shot more on location, while also shooting at Pinewood Studios, in London, but I kind of felt like most of it was CGI, except it wasn't absolutely filled to the brim with just that, like in the prequel trilogy. And that's the first time I mentioned prequels. I can't believe it. Let's talk about some. I'm sorry. I'm trying to talk about another topic when I haven't finished talking about this. Yeah. Anyway, you've got. For God's sake, I probably have short-term memory loss. Maybe not. I forget things so quickly. I completely forgot what I was going to say. Okay, so yes, practical effects and 3D effects. But yeah, most of the characters that couldn't be played with human people, or could be played by human people, but they didn't look like humans. Most of them were made out of CGI, and the CGI for the characters, at least, it didn't look very good. So most people know that Voldemort looked completely CGI and completely stupid, really, in the Harry Potter series. Whereas you have as well, with the similar thing, Leader Snoke, he looks like a blooming just a massive version of Voldemort, to be honest. And I don't like that. You're supposed to be using, if you're going to use practical effects, use some practical effects. Well, sure, he couldn't be a character that could be played with practical effects. I get that, but the CG was really bad for him. And having CG for what was her name again? As Maz Kanata, having her as CG, I think it kind of improved it, but it wasn't necessary. And it could be better as well. But the practical effects, I didn't really actually notice that many, so I can't really talk about them. I suppose they're probably pretty good. So that's cool. Now, what else is there to talk about? Yes, cinematography. The cinematography in this movie was absolutely brilliant. The movie is beautiful. It is jam-packed, beautiful. It is gorgeous, the cinematography. That section where Rey is on the car after she'd got out of the ruins of the Imperial ship, and you just see the whole ship. I heard people in the audience going, "Ooh," because it looked aesthetically pleasing. It looked lovely in its approach. And you just got to see all that sand as well. the whole thing looked absolutely beautiful. Also, when they were in it wasn't light speed. Yeah, when they were in light speed and you could see the portal, you could see in the cinema all the little tiny details of it, and that's how CGI is used pretty good with the cinematography. What they could do is they could use a lot more close-up shots. Not close-up shots. I think they could use a lot of shots that are more of a mid-range, I'd say, because lots of the shots they have are from a long way away, I'd say. And that's a bit, that's kind of doesn't really improve the movie by having just tons of different shots that's like of the same shots. It kind of doesn't improve it at all. But it's great cinematography. Let's talk about comedy. This movie was jam-packed. Well, not jam-packed. It wasn't like comic relief kind of, but it was jam-packed with subtle references and comedy that made lots of people laugh and chuckle. That's going to get me into my favourite moment. My favourite moment in the movie was where I think I had two favourite moments. I can't actually decide which was the best. My favourite moment was either the lightsaber battle, because it was just aesthetically pleasing and just looked great, and I'll talk about that at the very end. The lightsaber battle, I think I'll talk about battles kind of, at the end, I suppose. Alright. That just looked great. And also I like the comedy bit where Rey uses the Jedi mind trick to get the stormtrooper to let her out. Yeah, and basically she says, "Let me out," and then he basically repeats that, and then she says, "And also drop your weapon." And then basically he drops his weapon. The stormtrooper drops his weapon while walking. He drops it and he says, "I will also drop my weapon." That's pretty funny as well, which was good. But the comedy, it was kind of subtle, but it wasn't like laugh your pants kind of comedy. That's not what Star Wars. The Star Wars wouldn't improve with it. That's that. Music. The music is brilliant. Not as good as any of the soundtracks of the original movie, but John Williams still does an absolutely fantastic and really, really faithful job at overall doing everything and making it work and kind of sound like it fits in. Although the thing is, the best music with the whole movie related to it was actually the trailer music. There was not one piece of music in the movie that was better than the trailer music for trailer 3. The trailer music was fantastic, where it's like it was brilliant, it was great, and the music it got me pumped for everything, and I like when I get pumped. It kind of adrenaline and stuff like that. Also with sound in the theatre, it absolutely, the first time I watched the movie, after it said "a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away," it went dun, 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 and it absolutely blew the theatre apart, and I saw nearly everyone there jump in their seats, because the thing is, the first time I was more near the front and got some good seats, like halfway down, but we were actually at the back, and also the thing is, the theatre was still packed a month after release. But yeah, we got seats at the back, and we couldn't really see that as much, because we didn't really have because we weren't on the end either, so we didn't really see people like we were me and my dad were the first time when we saw it. But yeah, it was great. The sound was great. You could hear the snow coming down in the final lightsaber battle at the end. Now here's the last topic, I suppose. There's not much else to talk about. topic. Okay, the battles. The battles were brilliant. Especially the bits where the resistance came, where they had them big fights. It looked great. And then also the lightsaber battle between Finn and the stormtrooper with the thingy. That kind of little battle. It looked great. Actually, it looked really good, and it looked kind of real and very natural as well. But the star of the show of all the battles is definitely the lightsaber battle at the end. Sadly, there was only one lightsaber battle, which kind of disappointed me a little bit. But I suppose the first A New Hope only really had one lightsaber battle. But the lightsaber wasn't used that much in this one. So we're kind of going back to the start again. So that's that. But what else? What can I say about the lightsaber scene? You have to watch it yourself. It's absolutely brilliant. You can see Rey jumping about, and you can see the fire on the lightsaber colliding with the blue, with that vibrant tone of blue, and it just looks so good. But I can't really explain it. You have to see it. That's all. That's my first impressions. Technically second of Star Wars: The Force Awakens. I hope you enjoyed it. You probably didn't, because I was stuttering through half time and repeating a lot. But thanks very much for watching, guys, and peace the hell out. I should be uploading some new videos soon. Double videos a day. One video old and video that I've already done before, and then one video that's a new video or something like that. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, guys, and peace the hell out. And also, guess what? You've been watching First Impressions!